Welcome everyone to the Hello Mindful October Challenge. This is Pierre Kwan from People on the Go, and I will be guiding you through this webinar today. First of all, everyone on the call today has been part of this effort in some way or another since the very beginning when we launched the crowdfunding campaign early in the year. So I want to say first a big thank you, and this is a good time to have a mindful moment and appreciate this accomplishment for all of us, and also being part of this community of like minded people, which you'll get to know more as you start to go into the portal. So, having said this, we're not done yet. Your help in this upcoming period is just as crucial, and I'm very happy to see that you're taking part of this challenge. So, two important observations before we move on. First of all, the Hello Mindful October Challenge is actually about habit forming. So, the app is the vehicle, but the real value and what's behind this and the goal is to change habits. And then also, that there are many ways to use the app. So it's not that you have to use all the features all the time. It really depends. So in terms of habit forming, these are the habits that the app can help you instill. Not all of them. You can focus on one or a few, but this is just to give you an idea. And then in terms of the different ways to use the app, by the way, all of this is in the online portal. So for those who want to take their time to look at them, reflect on them, you can feel free to do so in the online portal. And in terms of the different ways in which you can use the app, so these are the 5 personas that we came up with based on conversations with different users over time. And I would love your feedback and input. Maybe there is more. Maybe there are some more variations. So would love to hear from you about these as you take on the challenge in October, starting today. And let's start with the first one, the to-do list maker, Joan. Okay, let me tell you first about Joan before we jump into the app. So Joan likes to have to-do lists. And with Hello Mindful, she changed her approach to to-do lists. Instead of starting her day by looking at an existing, never-ending, overwhelming to-do list, I'm sure many of you are familiar with those, she would start with a fresh page, pretty much the today page in the app, and a simple question that she tries to answer intuitively, not by looking at to-do lists or calendar or email. She asks the question, what is important? What do I want to accomplish today? And then she goes ahead and adds those few items to the today page. So for instance, update the job description, edit that article that's been waiting, and get feedback from John about this important project issue. So then she might take a look at items that are outstanding from before, like previous days. She would use the show more, and this would show her any items that were outstanding from yesterday or even before yesterday. And she can decide to move some of these items to today if she wants. And throughout the day, when more items come up, more things that she wanted to do, she can add them to the today page if she intends to work on them today. For instance, she might decide to call Jean, and that becomes part of her today's to-do list. Now, in addition to the today to-do list, she also has a capture page where she can capture all kinds of items that may not necessarily need to be done today, but so she can have them in a safe place. And similar to the today page, the capture page can also show her items that were captured previously and that are still outstanding, and she can decide to move some of them to today's capture page. And she can also, at any point in time, move some of these items into the today page so they become part of today. So today's page is pretty much her focus for the day. It gives her focus. It keeps her much more productive, and she knows what she needs to accomplish today. In addition to this, of course, she has the log, and in the log, she can see very easily what she accomplished, and she can look at the summary at the end of the day to also get the bigger picture of what was accomplished. So now this is the to-do list maker, Joan. And for Joan, so what's most important, just to summarize a little bit, what's most important to Joan, the to-do list maker, is starting fresh every single day and using her intuition and capturing items as they come up, whether in the today page or the capture page, and having access to unfinished items from previous days. Now, Joan doesn't necessarily throw away her other longer, more extensive to-do list, but she changes the way she looks at to-do lists. So her other to-do list, which can be substantial, which she may track separately somewhere else, she still looks at it, but it serves more as additional options that she might choose to bring to today, as opposed to being constantly driven by these long to-do lists that tend to be overwhelming, and some items on them are stale and overall maybe hindering her instead of helping her move forward. So that's the to-do list maker, Joan. Okay, so now the second persona, it's mindful Paul. So what is important to Paul? So Paul would like to work and be intentional and be aware of time. Also, he likes to add some more reflection to his day so he can check and see how he's spending his time and maybe make some adjustments. And it's important for him to be mindful of his own well being and focus more on his self care. The now page is his most favorite page in the app. Whenever Paul starts to work on a task, irrelevant where that task came from, that task may come actually from the today page. So if he already put some items that he wants to accomplish today, he can come to the today page, select one of the items, and start that item from here. Alternatively, maybe he wants to work on an unplanned item that he didn't plan for, maybe a new thing that came up or a request that came from somebody else. So he can just go to the now page and go ahead and type the item here. Now for Paul prefers to work in bigger increments. So for him, his tasks tend to be deeper, require longer focus. So he went ahead and changed the settings to 30 minutes instead of the standard 15 minutes. And now when he goes to the now page, you can see the default now is 30 minutes. So, and it will stay 30 minutes for as long as he keeps that setting. So he goes ahead and let's say he's gonna work on that grant proposal, and he starts his 30-minute increment. And now he's gonna be more focused. He's aware how much time he's spending here, and it's gonna help him be much more mindful and get much deeper into his work. But let's say after 10-15 minutes, an urgent issue came up and Paul needs to stop working on this proposal and take on that more urgent issue. So he would click on the switch symbol. Basically, he's switching tasks. And then he might start his other task. Let's say this is a client issue that came up. And in the log, Paul can easily see that he has this other grant proposal that's unfinished and that he needs to get back to it later. So he stays mindful of the items that were incomplete and he doesn't have to remember what was complete, what was not. He can quickly check the log later in the day and make sure he revisits the item that needs further action. Now, in addition, what Paul did in the mindful break page, he redesigned or tailored the mindful breaks based on his preferences and the kind of things that work for him and get him refreshed. And as you can see, he also added a reminder for this break so that at the end of each task, he gets reminded to stop and take that short break. And now moving further to Heidi. Heidi is the collaborator. So what's important for her is to be able to focus when she needs to, and at the same time to still be responsive to her team's requests, and also to help her team create a culture of more effective collaboration. So how is she going to do this in the app, using the app? So in the app, in the Now page, whenever Heidi wants to focus, she would go to the Now page and indicate what is the task she's working on. Maybe it's the project plan. And as soon as she starts this task, you can see that her status was switched to red. Now, what she did actually, she already discussed this with her team and set their expectations, how she wants to manage her focused and collaborative time, and also gave them the opportunity to do the same, also using the app, so she can also be mindful of their focused time. So now her team members, let's say Joan is on her team. So let's go to another browser and log in as Joan. So when Joan goes to the collaborate page, she's going to see that Heidi's status is red, which means she's focused. So instead of interrupting Heidi when she has an important question, she might put a note to Heidi indicating that she has a question about the Excel formula. This is high urgency and she prefers to talk about this in person, and she may put the question or some more details right here. So as soon as she sends her question, this is going to go to the queue, to Heidi's queue. So now Heidi is going to notice first that there's something in her queue. This number 1 here indicates there's somebody waiting in her queue. And obviously she doesn't interrupt her work right now and look at the queue, but she knows that there's somebody waiting for her. And maybe there could be 2 or 3 people waiting because several people need her for different reasons. When she's done with her focus time, she can go to the queue and look at the actual questions in her queue. She can see the note from Heidi, and then she can decide to get in touch with her and answer her question. So, and then once she resolves this issue, she can mark it as resolved. So now both Heidi and her team can work in a much more collaborative way because they can all see each other's status and they know when people are focused, but they can still post important notes in their queue, and all communication is much more synchronized and much more optimized. Okay, so this is Heidi. So our next persona is the on-the-go Manu. So what is important to Manu is to be able to add items on the go from wherever he is. And also, as he go to different places, he wants to be able to know who's focused and who's available so he can stop by different people for various purposes. So therefore, Manu uses the same features that we already talked about, however, on the mobile app. So this is basically the benefit of having the mobile app, because wherever you're out and about, you have all access to all the same information, and you can continue to add things to today or to the capture page, and you can continue to be aware of who's on your team doing what and who's available and who's not, and therefore synchronize accordingly. So that's the on-the-go Manu. And then last but not least is Integrator Jasmine. So Integrator Jasmine uses many of the features that we discussed to support her in several ways, in being more mindful, taking breaks, helping focus at the beginning of the day and decide what's important, continue to capture items as they come up, reflect on where she's spending her time. So it's basically using many different aspects of the app all together to create the maximum impact. So Jasmine is pretty much our ideal ultimate user, but we don't all need to be there. It's more something to get to if it's applicable and if you find that to be helpful. So these are the different personas. So hopefully we gave you some additional insights into how to use the app. And we would be very curious in the online portal as you start to post your different thoughts and ideas to see which persona you fall under, and or give us ideas for new personas that we haven't thought about yet. Now, in terms of the getting started and the online portal, so the things to do is, one, install the app if you haven't yet. I think most of you have done that already. And if you're new to the app, and I think most of you are not new, but just in case, you can look at the tutorial. Let me show you the online portal. So this is the online portal. And then we have the tutorial right here, which is how to attain the 5 pillars of mindfulness at work. And then you can start to use the app daily. As I mentioned earlier, it's not necessary to use it all the time. And it's okay if you have to skip some days if needed. I know some of you are going to be traveling for a day here or a few days there. So it's fine on these days if you don't report things. Even though you may be like the on-the-go Manu and continue to put things that you want to capture and so on. So that is also a possibility. Now, what we would like you to do each day, preferably later in the day after you've used the app, to go back to the online portal and then report 3 things. A benefit that you got from using the app today. And it's okay to be repetitive. Let's say it helped you be more focused, and tomorrow it helped you be also more focused. It's fine to put the same benefit again. That will help us kind of see which of the benefits you're continuously enjoying and how you're using the app. So it's all good. And in addition to a benefit, if you run into problems or challenges, please jot them down here so we can put some priority on addressing those. And then also, if you have a wish, like something that you'd like the app to do or some related improvements, so feel free to share that here. Now, you don't have to share each one of these every single day. At least, though, it will be great to see a little bit about the benefit, or even a quick hello if you want. So we know you're there. And you may want to also check what other people are sharing so you can get ideas from other people. Anything else to mention? Yeah, questions. Let's handle some questions right now. So we have a few questions that I'd like to answer, and then we'll end the session. But you can always feel free to contact us for further questions. So you can send me an email and or Sarah, who's also part of the team, and she's helping with the October challenge and beyond. So question number 1, how can I invite somebody to be part of my team so we can collaborate. Okay, so this is where you invite people. So under the collaborate page, we have the invitations tab where you can go ahead and invite people. So you put their name, their email, and a brief message. Now they're gonna get the invitation. If they're already a user and they already have access to the team version, they'll be able to accept your invite. Basically, all they have to do, they go to the invitation page, they will see your invite right here under received, and they will accept it. And once they accept it, you're connected now, and they'll appear in your collaborators page, and you appear in their page. Now, if you invite somebody who doesn't yet have an account in the system, they would need to sign up first, basically register, and they would also need to upgrade to the team version so they can collaborate with you. So that's kind of how it works right now. Now, everybody on the call and everybody who's part of this challenge already has access to the team version, so you can collaborate with each other. So I know we have some people from the same department or who work together, so you're already set to collaborate together. But if you want to collaborate with someone who's not yet part of this initiative, they would need to register, get the team version, purchase it either using the app or using the web, and then accept your invite. Okay, another question. Where is the tutorial for people who are new to the app? So the tutorial is in the online portal, and specifically under how to attain the 5 pillars. So that's where you find the tutorial. It's basically a recording of a previous Lunch and Learn where we actually went through what does it mean to be mindful at work and showed each of those 5 aspects of mindfulness at work, and then talked about how the app can help you in each one of these. Okay, any other questions? Okay, it seems like we're good for now, and we look forward to your participation and to seeing your comments in the online portal, and have a great afternoon, everybody.